Hello, viewers and listeners. You are welcome to another edition of the program Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio transmitting on 91.9. I'm your host, Hajara Usman Attajri. Northern states in Nigeria faces significant challenge, driven by factors like insecurity, lack of access to quality education, and poverty. Reports indicate that northern Nigeria holds the highest concentration of out-of-school children, with over 15 million in the region, particularly in the northwest and northeast zones. With states with the highest numbers are Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Bauchi, Borno, Yobe, and Kaduna. This state suffers from high rates of poverty, insecurity, and cultural factors. In today's edition of the program Midday Vibes, we will be tackling a pressing issue, which is out-of-school children in northern Nigeria. With millions of children missing out in education affecting individuals, communities, and regions' future. Let's dive in and explore the causes, consequences, and possible solutions to this problem. Joining us in the studio is Musa Muhammad Usman from the Department of Education Foundation, Sokoto State University, specialist in adults and non-formal education. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be with you.
As a Nigerian and as a Northerner, what do you think are the primary factors driving children out of school in northern Nigeria?
Yeah, the issue of out-of-school children. Although before we get into that, let's know who are the out-of-school children. Yeah, these are children of school age. That's between 6 to 14 years. That's supposed to be in school. But unfortunately, due to one condition or the other that have to do with life and social life or economic life, this kind of children will miss the opportunity to be in school. So, and this kind of children, we call them out-of-school children, as long as, because the definition has a lot of contradictions. Some said if one can be able to, is attending maybe Quranic school, the person cannot be addressed as an out-of-school child. Whereas others said no, as long as the children are not attending Western education programs, they can be addressed as out-of-school children. So whatever the contradiction, the debate there, out-of-school children are generally acceptable definition is that they are not attending Western education. Those are the ones that we are addressing as out-of-school children. So the factors that are responsible for having this huge number of out-of-school children in the northern part of Nigeria or northwest, there are a lot of factors. Even before the advent of insecurity, there are a series of challenges that lead to the marginalization of northern Nigeria in terms of Western education. The first issue when Western education comes into Nigeria around 1800s, by then Western education come in with the mission of Christianizing people. So as a result, most of the Muslims that are from the northern part of Nigeria feel like they cannot be part of that because they don't want to be converted to Christians. So as a result, a number of northerners feel like they stigmatize Western education based on that. So, and when time goes on, later on, after there was sanity in the system, the education, they realized that no, attending that school, the Western education, does not mean that you will likely become a Christian. So as a result, most of them attended these schools, and all those that we have the past educated leaders that we have, they all attended those kind of schools. They are missionary schools, but when you are attending the school does not mean that you must become necessarily a Christian. So that was the issue there. So as a result, then others, generally majority, they try to stigmatize Western education due to the Christian, issues that are there in their system. So as a result, the southern part are generally accepted Western education, and that makes a kind of disparity between the northern and southern part of Nigeria in terms of education. So it's one of the issues that bring about the issue of and that issue up to date is still existing. There are many families that still reject Western education in the northern part of Nigeria. Even here in the metropolis, you come across several, parents that will say, no, my child will never attend Western education. So as a result of that, that one is one of the factors. Then coupled with along the line, then we have a number of parents that are illiterate. Who did not attend Western education schools. So due to that, their ignorance about it used to tell them that attending Western education is just like you are living Islam. So due to that also, those kind of parents, they denied their children the opportunity to attend Western education. So that's the second factor. Then another factor that we can bring into here have to do with poverty. Poverty is equally contributing to the increasing number of out-of-school children, because although most of the northern states have education free, of course, but upon that, parents need to purchase things that have to do with uniform and other learning materials for the children, which can make them uniform with others. So the economic hardship that some of the parents are facing cannot allow them to be able to have those kind of material for their children. As a result, some of them will say, no, okay, if they are interested, they can go. If they are not, they should just stay at home. So that one is another factor. And also, we have the issue of access to schools. There are many communities where you can go for the children to get access to a school, a primary school. They may trek more than 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers, or even more than that before they can get access to school. So that access also happen to be one of the contributing factors of out of school children number in the northern part of Nigeria. So, and also the parents in those particular localities, most of them are parents who did not attend Western education schools. So as a result, if they feel like the distance is far away from their communities, they will just decide, no, the children should just remain at home to do one thing or the other for them. So that's another factor. Then still, we have the issue of inadequate accountability in terms of monitoring of schools. Because you see, around 1998, the Declaration of Universal Basic Education was there, that every child will have access to school and it will be free. Apart from that of 1976 by Obasanjo, which also was a declaration of free access to basic education for every child, by trying to provide the access to the schools and also making the school free for them. So, but upon all this, we are still suffering with a kind of issue of lack of accountability in terms of monitoring the schools. You will find some localities where there will be the name of a school, but the school is not existing there. No structure, no, you cannot even ask of the students.
So it happens.
Of course. So there are many of that nature. And not only here in Sokoto, but most of the northern states, where I work, I believe that we come across this kind of schools, ghost schools. So then there is no accountability. And also where the schools exist, the monitoring that's supposed to go on regularly to make sure that things are working according to plans, the monitoring is not there. Because those that are in charge of that find it very difficult, maybe due to lack of resources or one factor or the other, they cannot be able to make it to visit the schools regularly to see what is happening there and how it's happening, to see what kind of support does the school need and what could they do instantly to address the challenges that the schools are facing. That accountability also will fail it. We don't have it. As a result of that, where the schools were poorly administered. Those in charge of the schools can go when they feel like to go. The teachers posted to the school go on when they feel like to go. So as such, the children also, their parents have a lot of things that the children can do for them. So instead of sending them to go and just running about playing in the schools, they prefer to keep them at home to do other things for them. So that one is also a contributing factor to the increasing number of out-of-school children in the northern part. Then we have the issue of lack of social justice. Justice in terms of living standard of every citizen in the country is also because the life of those in the rural areas and the life of those in the urban areas, there is disparity, very serious disparity, which also is causing a lot of problems. If now a teacher is being posted to maybe somewhere like Kudula, the teacher will feel like they even kill him alive. So some of them will even prefer to drop the appointment instead of going there.
But why?
There are a lot of factors, and we are going to discuss on that.
All right.
Yeah. So this kind of lack of the social justice for the teachers, for the system, and also in terms of accountability, in terms of service delivery by those responsible for the education delivery, all these are factors that contributed into the problems. So likewise, there is also issue of quality of teachers. There are places, rural areas where schools exist, teachers are there, government is providing a lot of resources there, but the teachers that are teaching the pupils are not doing what they're supposed to. So you will discover that a child will start from primary 1 to primary 6, but the child cannot write his name.
Is it that the problem is from teachers that are not well qualified? Or
of course, the teachers are not qualified and the dedication is not there. And most of the good teachers that we have, in most cases, they prefer to be posted in the urban areas instead of going to those local rural areas. And that is causing a very serious gap. And then we are doing that considering that the population is less, or thinking that they are in the rural areas, but we are all Nigerians. We have the same opportunity, we have the same right. And also when leaders are coming out from communities, nobody will say that the leadership should come from so area or from the township areas only. So, and as such, we are causing much harm to ourselves. So that is another factor that is contributing to the increasing number. Because instead of, for me to send my child for 6 years going to school, and the child cannot write his name, if I ask him to write my name, he cannot write my name, then why should I leave him to go and waste our time as such? Besides, we have a lot that he can do for me at home. So this is causing a serious problem, and also in a contributing factor in terms of the increasing number of out-of-school children in the northern part of Nigeria. Then still, we have the issue of prioritizing farming and rearing of animals than instead of sending children to school. Yeah, parents, most of the parents in the rural areas, they prefer to send their children to the farm or to go and rear their animals for them instead of sending them to school. And this is as a result of the quality of education that is being delivered. The outcome, the output is not there. So as a result, they prefer to send them where they can see an immediate outcome. So it's a very serious factor. Then ineffective policy implementation is another issue also. All these policies have been there, the policy of 1976, the policy of 1998, and other reviews of policies that have been in existence in Nigeria. All those policies are there just to ensure that every child have access to education, good education in Nigeria. But the policies are, after having them as policies, they will just keep them in the library. That's the end of it. So these are just some of the factors that we can say are contributing to the increasing number of out of school children in Nigeria. Then did I mention security?
No.
Yeah, security is one of the also the current major factor that is contributing to out of school children number in Nigeria. I mean in the northern part of Nigeria, because you can see every day the number of people that are migrating from their localities to different parts of the state and the country, and even the neighboring country, Niger, and other countries. Every day people are migrating. And whenever they are migrating, they have to move. So these children definitely, as long as they leave their communities, they have missed the education. Because where we will see them, here on all the IDP camps that we have here, if you go and ask, no IDP camp has any temporary learning center for these children. No one. No one. And also, there is no any provision for taking these children to give these parents opportunity to take the children directly to the school for them to continue with their learning. No provision like that. So they are just there keeping them redundant. These children, you always see them running about. And also, the issue of having this Almajiri education. Taking children from their local communities, bringing them into the township for them to go to acquire Islamic education is also a contributing factor to Western out of school number of children in the northern part of Nigeria. So just to cut it short, we can stop at that point.
Okay. Earlier you've made mention of poverty and sending children to farm instead of school as one of the contributing factors to out of children in northern Nigeria. So how does socioeconomic factors, can you throw more light on it? How do socioeconomic factors such as poverty and child labor contribute to this issue in northern Nigeria? Yeah,
the poverty, as I said earlier, some of the parents, they find it very difficult to get what they can eat. So for them to then take money to go and buy uniform for their children, in fact, it is not possible for them.
But considering that in government schools, most of the things in the school are free. Government used to provide them. The little that parents can provide, that is the uniform and the writing materials.
Upon that, I can tell you that there are many among my neighbors. I can tell you that there are many who fail to send their children due to just school uniform, due to just books and pencils. The parents cannot purchase them for the children. As a result, and the issue of the socio-economic factor is there, then contributing with the illiteracy of the parents. Most of the parents having this kind of attitude did not attend Western schools. So as such, they see no value in it. So they cannot take the little resources that they will use to feed the family to take it to buy uniform or learning materials for the children. So as a result, you will discover that some of the children will remain at home, running about. Some will be sent to go for hawking. And also that one is another very serious factor also. Parents, due to hardship that the families are facing, they prefer to send them to go and sell something for them so that they can get benefit. They are using them for hawking. So it's another factor. Many parents, they will say, no, I prefer to send her to go and sell, or send him to go and sell for me. It's better when they return, we can get something to eat today. You can see how the factors are affecting the system. So beside this, also
coming back to insecurity, how does insecurity impact access to quality education in this region, that is northern region?
It affects the quality in the sense that children, education is being arranged sequentially. sequentially with scopes. And also the sequence, as long as there is a breakage in the sequence, the child miss 1-2 classes for a subject, then the child has already missed. Because the scope and sequence is being arranged in the sense that from step 1 you move to step 2. From step 2 you move to step 3. If you move from step 1 jumping to step 3 or step 4, definitely you miss what can lead you or assist you to achieve step 5. So in that case, you have already created a gap that cannot be filled up. So you can see how the quality will end up being affected. At the same time, then that's for those that are lucky to go back to school. Some of them, as long as crisis occur, they left their communities, they have lived education at all. They cannot go back to school again. So you can see now this kind of children are there numerous. They are now out of school, and also there is no opportunity for them to go back to school. So as such, the security situation is affecting the education system seriously. And also looking at another issue again, the issue of displacing schools, I mean moving schools from a particular location to another location, is also a serious factor that is affecting children learning. Some of them, as long as they are living where their localities, going to another location for their schooling, definitely some of them cannot go. The parents can say that I don't have transport to take them to Sokoto. And from there, the children will be out of school. And that will mark the end of their education. Then, beside that, the margin of the schools also, at the same time, maybe 2, 3, or even 5 schools can be merged in one school. And as such, you will come and see the kind of crowded classrooms that you will come across, which will definitely affect their learning and also the quality of education that they may likely acquire. So all these are factors that are seriously affecting the quality of the education. If it's something that we can discuss on, maybe to develop a paper or even a book, is something that is very, very deep and also something worth reflecting about. Yeah.
But based on what you mentioned earlier, are there any cultural or regional differences in attitude towards education?
Yes, of course.
So how do cultural beliefs and practices impact education in northern Nigeria?
The cultural beliefs, as I said earlier, that some of our northern people have the perception that Western education is just like living Islam. That belief is still in some of our people. Yeah. So, and then this has really seriously affected the system. Because if someone have that perception, the person may sit with another person and start telling him the negative part of the Western education school. So as such, that person will equally develop the interest of not sending his own children. So many people have that particular perception. Whereas the condition is not like that. It's just there is lack of understanding that those kind of people have. Likewise, there is this issue of lack of or inadequate understanding of Islam. What the teachings of Islam and what Islam permits and what Islam did not permit. Some of our people don't have the good understanding of this, and also they fail to understand the condition of Nigeria. Being Nigeria a multicultural country, a multi-religious country, if you say you as a Muslim cannot send your own children to the school, then what will you expect? That's what they fail to understand. So the improper understanding of Islam is also contributing to that issue of that is affecting Western education, acquisition in the northern part, and also increasing the number of out of school children in the northern part. Yeah. Then also there is this issue of cultural preservation. People try to preserve their own culture in the sense that they feel like Most of our people feel like sending children to school is just like they will become corrupted culturally, particularly girls. So as a result, some people, there are those who choose to send their children to school, Western school, I mean, whereas the girls will not go. Then there are those who prefer that no one of them should go to the Western schools. So all of these are this kind of categories of people are trying to preserve the culture, because they feel like Western education have a kind of corruption that will change the life of their children, whereas the situation is not like that. So
thank you very much, man. Yeah. We'll take a short break. Okay, viewers and listeners, it's still your show, Midday Vibes. Coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio transmitting on 91.9. We will take a short break and we will be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. In case you've just joined us, this is Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio transmitting on 91.9. And right here at the studio is Musa Muhammad Usman from the Department of Educational Foundation, Sokoto State University, specialist in adults and non-formal education. And we are having a discussion on the causes, consequences, and solutions of out-of-school children in northern Nigeria. You want to be part of this conversation, the number to call is 090-6000-2022. Malam Musa, welcome back.
Thank you.
As an educationalist, what do you think are the immediate and long-term effects of out-of-school children in Nigeria?
Yeah, for the immediate consequences, although consequences can be, we can call them immediate or permanent, but they are generally permanent, because a problem when it occurred now, believe me, to you is a problem, but to others is a lesson to learn. So some of the consequences that this may lead to include the increase in the in the rate of crime and also insecurity, because the mind that doesn't have education at all is just like an empty mind. Whenever someone meets that mind and injects something in it, the mind will just take that as what? As the principle. So, and there are a number of groups that may have to do with those that are claiming to be armed groups of different category. They are recruiting, and their recruitment normally they use to focus on this kind of out-of-school children. So you can see the way this issue can end up increasing the factors, increasing insecurity in the societies. Then also, this kind of people, when they are there out of school children, they have a kind of limitation to the opportunities that they're supposed to have in their life. A number of opportunities that they're supposed to get, they cannot get it because of they are not educated. And whatever you are going to do today, either business or civil service, whatsoever you want to do today without education, you will become a handicap in that. So as such, there will be some kind of barriers to their development. In terms of their personal development, the way they will develop personally, you will discover that there are disparities between those that grow up as out of school children and those who went to school. You will discover very serious gap between their style of life. Likewise, their social development also, you cannot compare it, because those that grow up as out of school children, in terms of social life, you will discover that they are at zero level. So for them to be able to know how to live with other people and interact with them, to live a successful life with everyone, is very difficult for them. Likewise, in terms of their economic development, as I said earlier, if they will venture into business, they will end up having certain barriers in their business due to their lack of Western education. Yeah. So then also there is this kind of vulnerability to exploitation. Exploitation in terms of many aspects of life, they are so vulnerable because if you don't know what is going on, if someone come and tell you that no, this is what is going on, let's go and do this or that, you can see easily they can change their minds. So that kind of vulnerability is a very serious problem. Their minds can be changed easily. They can be manipulated easily. So, and is causing serious problems in the society. Likewise, also, this kind of issue, I mean, the increasing number of out of school children, it will also affect the economic growth of the country and the general development of the country. Because the percentage literacy rate that the country is supposed to achieve for it to be able to develop, which is 75% minimum, you discover that the country will not be able to reach it because the number of out of school children now, you just mentioned something around 15 million out of school children that we have in the northern part of Nigeria. So, and then this 15 million children are there, whereas the number is always increasing due to the security factors, insecurity factors, and other challenges that people are encountering in the northern part of the country. So these are serious issues that will affect the economic development of the country generally. Because you see, education supposed to be holistic to cover everyone and everywhere, as long as we want to develop. Because if those that are educated happen to be 50%, the remaining 50% can be able to sabotage or destroy whatever that 50% will do. So as such, for us to think that with the little that we have, we can be able to develop, leaving those one out of school without education, we are just deceiving ourselves.
So what are the security implications, insecurity implications of having out of school children in the country?
Yeah, the security implication of it, is very high. As I said earlier, these children can be easily recruited into armed groups. And these armed groups, they have their agents here and there, looking for just this kind of people that are ignorant, so that they can just brainwash them and take them into their groups. So, and also, these little children that we may have around that we can see running about, not going to school, not having any good social interaction with anyone. They are just living a kind of life that is very little different from that of animals. So in their own case, they are just something like a time bomb that we have in the society. Because these children are seeing us riding cars, motorcycles, living in beautiful houses, whereas they are living under the bridge, living on the, sleeping on bare land without even a mat. They hardly eat, they hardly drink. Clothes to wear is a problem to them. This kind of children, whenever they grow up in this society without taking necessary actions, we are in serious problem. All what we are facing now as a problem, we will feel like is nothing when these children will grow up. So it's a serious problem that's supposed to be addressed with immediate effect. The government, stakeholders, organizations, development partners, everyone is expected to take part in this to see how we can address this situation, to get these children reintegrated, as good citizens and also people that will contribute towards the development of the nation.
So how does this issue perpetuate the cycle of poverty in the country?
The out of school children, education and poverty, definitely, wherever there is good education, poverty cannot exist. So, but whenever there is illiteracy, definitely poverty has a root. Of course, because countries that are developed, that have good literacy rate, that are above 75%, if you go through their GDP, you will see that is something that every country will be interested in. But our African countries that have low literacy rate, if you verify the poverty rate in our African countries is very, very low. Very high, the poverty rate. And this is just as a result of we don't have the good education. Even those of us in Africa that are educated, so-called education, you will discover that our education cannot take us out of economic crisis. So, and then that's in our own case, those of us that are educated. Talk less of those that are not educated. In their own case, you will discover that the problems that they will find themselves into are so many, because the sense for them to be able to think and reason about how to go on with a business is a problem to them. It's only those of friends that grow up and understand that I cannot make it by myself, that used to get consultants that will be consulting them in terms of how they can run their businesses internationally. Because for you to stay in-house with your business locally, you cannot be able to make it up the standard that you want. Today, whatever the business you are doing, you have to do it internationally, as long as you want to develop. And then if it is international, you speak only Hausa. When you get out of the country, how can you communicate? Who can know what you want? Who can know how much you want to buy it? So it's a problem. So this is seriously affecting and also leading to poverty in terms of many perspectives.
So what strategy do you think can be used to improve access to quality education in Nigeria?
What we are expected here to have, there are issues or factors that are so many. Because if you look at the issue of education in Nigeria generally, is a very serious issue that you will not even know where to start from, because the problems are so many. But what is expected in this situation, to see how we can reduce the number of the out of school children, is for us to make sure that there is security in every angle of the northern part of Nigeria. Wherever people are, they will feel that their life and properties are well secured. This is supposed to be in place first before any other thing. Then secondly, the government is expected to prioritize rural education, to make it a priority. Those in the rural areas, their education should be given priority, in the sense that the government is expected to provide enough infrastructure for those in the rural areas. Then also, beside the infrastructure, staff quarters should also be provided, including the primary schools, to get staff, quarters for the teachers. At the same time, the best teachers should also be posted to the rural areas. You will discover that all the good teachers that you have, they are all packed here in the township. So, and then, beside posting these teachers to the rural areas, then also the government should make sure that there is good provision for special salaries and allowances for the teachers that will work in the rural areas. Because you will not send me to Kogula to go and teach from Sokoto, and then saying that someone who is living, making just 5 minutes straight to the school from his house, and I that will be at Kudula, then we will be paid the same salary at the same level. If that's how it works, it will never work. That's the fact. So there should be special package for them, good welfare for them, staff quarters and other welfare packages should be provided for them, so that they can stay and do the work comfortably. At the same time, the government is equally expected to review the teacher training programs, to make teacher training programs more practical instead of theories. Yes, for teacher trainees to go for teaching practice of only 12 weeks throughout the 4 years. is very minimal and also is undermining the quality of teachers that we are producing today. So that one has to be reviewed so that good qualitative teachers can be produced. Then employing only the best as what? As teachers. Because teaching is for the best, not for the worst. The perception that if you are looking for employment, you do not get anywhere, they will say, no, even if it is teaching, try to get for him, should be abolished. So that the best, only the best should be appointed as what? As teachers. So at the same time, regular training for the existing teachers, those that are there on ground should be given regular training so that they can become up to date and also be using the latest models of teaching or pedagogies. So at the same time, making education also accessible to every child, irrespective of rural or urban. Wherever the child is, he should be provided with access to good educational services.
Madam Musa, as an educationalist, how do you think the government can balance security concern and the need to provide quality education to all children?
So the security concern, that one is a security issue, of course, but all what we can say about the security concern is for the government to do the needful and make sure that this security situation has been addressed once and for all. As a government, they have the systems of security, different security systems and security strategies that can be used to see the end of this problem once and for all. So they should try to put the security machineries in place and provide security in the whole region so that people can stay in their, communities, their children to be provided with schools and good teachers so that they can be able to learn and become the way what someone has also become in the country.
So what what partnerships can be leveraged in order to support education initiative in northern region?
Yeah, partnerships, there has been a number of partnerships. So the partnership, there are development partners that have been intervening into the education in the northern part of Nigeria, because the way they used to intervene into education in the northern part of Nigeria, they don't used to do it in the southern part of Nigeria. So they have been intervening, and also their partnership, whenever they their projects are over, most of them, they used to put some strategies in place to see how their work can be sustained by the government. So this sustainability is always a challenge, and all the partners that are partnering with the government can tell you that they have been facing serious challenges. Whenever the project ends, the work that the partners did will end up at that point. So it's a serious problem, but what the advice there is that the government should always try to have its own official attached to those partners so that they can learn whatever the partners come with, in the sense that whenever they leave, the legacy is already there. The skills has been acquired, the knowledge has been acquired, and it can be sustained in that matter.
So how can community campaign and engagement and awareness campaign helps in this issue?
Yeah, community awareness is very, very key. Very key. Because most of the people that we will have, which are not claiming not to send their children to school, or those that are facing crisis as a result children are out of school, if you ask them what did they think about their children education, they cannot tell you anything. So there is need for them to be given very good awareness of that there are alternatives for their children to go to school. Even if they leave their communities, they still have more opportunities for them to attend schools. So they need to be given this kind of awareness, and those that are not affected by the crisis, who are living in their communities also, there is need for very good awareness to be provided to them, telling them the implication of literacy and also the impact of literacy on their life and their children's life, and also the development of their communities. Because today, there is no need for someone to tell you how important or relevant is Western education to his or her life. Because even if you say that your child will not go to school, when you are sick, where will you take yourself to? Hospital. If you want to make a call, maybe you want to talk to someone at Lagos or Abuja or somewhere, what will you use? The phone. How can you use the phone? So, which means they are just trying to deny the truth. But this the Western education is beneficial, relevant to their life, and they are also using it. Even if they are trying to deny their children, but they are using it.
So, in summary, now how can technology and innovation be used to improve teaching and learning, especially in northern Nigeria?
Yeah, technology can be used in the sense that where we have these issues of crisis, there is this kind of radio schools programs, distance learning programs, and also using phones to have a kind of lessons which the children can listen to, and through that they can be able to learn. All these are means of ICT that can be used to get education for the children. Likewise, the distance learning programs also can be provided for them, or extension programs that people can go and meet them there to give them a kind of awareness, or even teach them for a while and leave. So, but the issue of using the technology is very important. Some of the hard to reach communities, the government can think of providing them with funds, customized funds with lessons that the children can be listening to, which will be so attractive. And at the same time, they will be listening, enjoying it, at the same time learning. So this one can be a kind of self-paced learning that the children can be using to learn in terms of distance learning. Then also the literacy by radio programs also can be used through the radio stations. The programs can be organized or being recorded and aired, which the children can use also to learn, as it has been done by SAMI and other organizations as such.
Thank you very much, Musa Muhammad Usman from the Department of Educational Foundation, Sokoto State University, specialist in adults and non-formal education. Thank you for honoring our invitation, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you too.
And with this, we come to the end of today's edition of the program Midday Vibes. On behalf of our production crew and our grace, Malam Musa Muhammad Usman, I am Hajara Usman At-Tajiri. Stay blessed until next time.